What is going on, YouTube and Facebook, DeRosa family? My name is Matt Faircloth. This is our Mentorship Monday program. My company is called the DeRosa Group, and we're a real estate investment company, but we want to educate people on how to do what we do or how to do what they do in a better fashion in real estate investing. So we just want to help propagate real estate education here at the DeRosa Group's YouTube channel. Mentorship Monday is our Monday program, and this is how it works. People email their questions, just like you can do this right now. Let your fingers do the walking on your keyboard and email us a question at helpme@DeRosaGroup.com. That is helpme@DeRosaGroup.com. And that question will come in, and you'll be considered to be right here live on our show to answer your question to me and then Justin Fraser. And we'll chat with you guys. We'll talk real estate shop, and you can get your questions answered right here on the air. All you got to do is helpme@DeRosaGroup.com. Email that question in, and we'll have you guys right here on the show. Do that. And the reason why you want to do that is because if you guys are lucky enough to get on the show with me and Justin, then you guys get a 1-month free membership to DeRosa Insiders. DeRosa Insiders, and let me tell you what that is and why that's a value to you guys, is a direct inside look at the day-to-day operations of our real estate company. We do live posts on a regular basis. Justin Fraser is not with us today. He's in North Carolina, but he did a 1 hour long live post on walking one of our apartment buildings, so you guys can pick his brain and hear about the property we have, to glean some lessons, to get some ideas, to get some inspiration. And he did that live post while he was walking around the apartment complex. How cool is that, right? So you guys can join him on those live sessions, ask questions, pick his brain, all you guys want to do on those live sessions. I join on live on a regular basis, just talk some shop, talk some noise with my with our followers and everything like that. Is direct access to me and my team. DeRosa Insiders is the place you guys want to go. And when you just go to DeRosaGroup.com, my company website, and go /insiders. Or you can email us a question at helpme@DeRosaGroup.com, and you can get on Insiders a free membership for 1 month by getting on this show on our Mentorship Monday program. So I either join us by going to DeRosaGroup.com /insiders, or you can text this number right here. Text DeRosa to 66866. And that will give you guys an enormous basket of goodies and a link to join Insiders too. You guys can't lose this opportunity to join all over the place. We hope you guys join us. So that's it for the plug for today's sponsor, DeRosa Insiders. Let us bring in our guest for the day. David is going to join us today, and he's going to pick my brain about real estate shop. David, bring it on, man. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to learn, and thanks. You guys do a lot of great content, and I'm learning a ton from you guys, so thank you.
Good. Well, it's an honor to have you here, David, too, to take time out of your busy day to join us here for your question of Mentorship Monday, my man. Glad to have you. So I'll just throw up here. You can ask your question in your own words, Annette, but here's the question emailed into us. But in your own words, tell me what's going on, and I'll see what I can do for you, my friend.
So pretty much, I see that you guys have a lot of members on your team, about 7 that are have specific roles. I'm curious to see how you guys have how you incentivize them to treat this deal like their own deal and give it their all. Because I feel like there may be some conflict of interest if someone has the deal more percent or someone's getting paid per hour, and how the whole structure is for you guys.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So you want to know, how do you break down the team on a syndication, right? How do you carve it up? Okay. So I'll happily take you there, my friend. So this is what I'll say a few things. My book, Raising.
It's a great book, by the way.
Have you written a review yet?
I will after this video. Yeah. I just finished the audiobook, and it was super great. I loved it. I learned a ton.
I need you.
I will.
And I know you're an Insiders member, so hit me up on Insiders to let me know when you did it, and all that.
We'll do.
We'll do a special shout out for you or something like that, or have you do a little mentoring session for you or something like that. Anyway, my book talks a little bit about how to split those things up. But the biggest thing I talk about in the book is what I'll tell you here. There is no law. There is no rule. There is no set in stone mantra that says thou shalt giveth the deal finder 20% or whatever like that. Okay. There is no set rule on how you break that up. It has to do with what gets negotiated, right? Now, I can tell you what industry practices are. This isn't necessarily what we do. This is what a lot of people out there are doing. Is you look at that, there's obviously the slice of pie that's the deal, okay? And the manager gets a carve out from the deal, somewhere between, if you want to go on the low side, some folks are out there doing 10% manager carve outs. Some folks are doing upwards of 30 or even 40% manager carve outs. Depends on the deal, right? That's how much the general partner gets, how much the owner, how much the director of the property gets for their effort of assembling the deal, putting everything together, right? So let's just say for conversations, it's a 30% called carve out. 30% of the deal goes to the general partner, right? Your question is, how do you bust up that 30% among the team? Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And first of all, the way you determine the 30% is you look at what the 70% is making. You make that, you look at your investor returns and say, okay, well, these folks are going to make 15% return. Like our deal in North Carolina that Justin Fraser's at right now is just, it's over a 15% return to investors, which is very favorable. So that's why we're comfortable at that level. Okay.
I see.
Now, what it boils down to is you want to factor in a few things. I wish I could just tell you, you know what, David, silver bullet, here you go. Give your asset manager this percent, the person that found the deal this percent, the folks that brought the equity this percent, and then someone that sponsors it that. It's hard to do that though, okay? You really got to segment it down. I can tell you what industry practices are, but these things are really based on industry experience and really what people bring in. Like the asset manager typically gets anywhere between, say, 15 up to 40% of the general partner side, depending on who the asset manager is and what they're bringing to the table, and also how big the deal is. Because if it's a very small deal, the asset manager may demand to get more because it's a small deal and there's not much in the asset management fee for them to get. For them to run the day-to-day and bring the deal to profitability may require a lot of legwork. So for a smaller deal, they may want more. For a larger deal, they might be okay taking a little bit less, right?
And would you say smaller deals like under 100 units? Is that where like it starts to struggle for the economies of scale?
It's really that you got to think about it in dollars and cents. You got to look at it in what is the compensation that the asset manager would be getting above. Like if you look at their AM fee that they get, okay, the asset management fee, it doesn't have to all go to them, but the asset management fee typically goes a lot of it to the AM. And the way we do it is that the house, the parent company, takes a chunk of the asset management fee, and the AM themselves gets a chunk of the asset management fee. Okay, depends on that, and that is left to be negotiated between the AM and the company. I really don't want to give guidance on how much that should be, because it's really a negotiation. It should be fairly open market negotiated between both parties, right?
Totally.
But if you've got a property that is once it's stabilized, the general partner is going to be making, let's say, $40,000 a year. Okay. If the asset manager is only getting 20% of that, that's $8,000 a year that the asset manager is getting. Okay. On top, a property that's only generating that much to the general partner is likely not leasing for very much. It probably doesn't have a whole lot of rent roll, And the reason I'm saying that is once a property is stabilized, say 15-20% of the rent should be coming in as cash flow once all the dust settles, if you bought the property well and you structured your debt well and everything like that, which means that the rents I'd be willing to guess on a property that makes $40,000 a year, the rents are only going to be top line probably maybe $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month, somewhere in there, right? And so that means that the asset management fee is not going to be very much. The AM is going to look at all this and say, no, I can't do 20% because $8,000 a year plus,
I see.
$100 a month in my pocket on the AM fee is just not enough for my time.
Not worth it. Yeah.
To run this deal, I need to get 20%. I need to get 40%, whatever it is, right? So I'll bring you another conversation. Let's say that you're doing a big deal like we are in North Carolina. And you've got the folks that are bringing the equity either out of their own pocket or out of their relationships and everything like that. That big deal requires an enormous amount of equity to close it. For that deal in North Carolina we're closing now that we're still raising on, you probably need to bring around $8.5 million to the table to close it. Okay, it takes a lot of. And typically you're not going to get that with just one person bringing in equity out of their own pocket or from others. So it takes a larger team to assemble that. Now, I should put a footnote in here. You are not allowed to have somebody in your team whose sole job in the world is to raise equity for your deal, because that's called that. Because then you're giving them compensation for selling a security. Okay, because they
Oh, okay.
sold security, and you're compensating them to do so, even though they're unlicensed. And so it's an unlicensed compensation. It's a no-no with the SEC. So what you got to do is anyone that's out talking to folks about investing in your project needs to have another role in the company. They need to be an active member of the company,
Okay.
you know. And then at that point, they can offer up people the right to invest with you, but only once they're an active member of the company, not just a gun for hire that goes and raises money for you. You follow?
And is it active members someone who plays just like another specific role? Does it have to be like specific hours dedicated to that company also?
No,
I
that's
see.
a big
Got you.
defined position. Remember, this is you got to get your head out of Employeeville, man. I
Mhm.
keep hearing employee language coming out of your mouth. You know, this is not employee land. This is partner land, right? I'm not trying
Understood.
to smack you around. I'm trying to I'm giving you tough love here, okay? Because I'm
I,
recognizing language you're using that is not prevalent in the entrepreneur side. Okay.
I'm trying to see just like how to best have a team that's as optimized as yours to structure where like it's a win-win for everyone and everyone's incentivized to do their best and to really
Yeah.
put in their time into the deal.
I'll give you the 4 seats on the bus, my friend. This is how you do it. And the bottom line is these things get negotiated. And there's a chunk that everybody gets a piece of. They get a chunk of the asset management fee. That's up for grabs. The percent of the general partners carve out of the deal. That's up for conversation. The construction management fee, if there is such a thing, and other fees that folks get a cut of. And then the acquisition fee. That's a big one that everybody wants a piece of because that can typically be fairly sizable on a large deal, right?
Okay.
Okay. Right. So that's that. Here are the 4 seats on the bus, and you got to figure which way, kind of how you want to value each of these things. Okay. Seat number 1, it's the person that finds the deal. For us, that's Hervé Francois. That's our acquisition.
Okay.
Right. I'm interviewing him on Bigger Pockets in an hour tonight to talk about how do you find deals in this crazy
Awesome.
market we're in. How do you find deals? So that's Hervé Francois. That's my acquisitions guy. Bigger Pockets Facebook page. You guys are watching live tonight. Bigger Pockets Facebook page. I'm interviewing my man Hervé. So Hervé is the acquisition specialist that drills into markets, finds the markets we want to invest in, builds the relationships in the markets, and then stays in contact with those relationship contacts until he finds a deal that works. Until he finds something that seems to be a viable option, right? That's the acquisitions manager. Then there's they're like, I call them the hunter. Okay. That's the hunter. Then there's the brain. That's the person that takes the deal, underwrites it, processes it, builds a business plan. They're the analyst of the deal. Okay. That's the brain. And that person is the, constructor of the underwriting and the what we got to do to make the deal work and how much financing we got to get and what kind of rents we got to charge and all those things. That's the underwriter. Okay. Third thing is the money. And that's kind of what I do. It's raising the money, assembling the financing, assembling the debt financing, and also assembling the equity financing. That's something the money person does, right?
Okay.
Then you've got the hammer. Okay. And by the way, these roles all kind of convolute. So the money person is not just doing money. The money person is probably involved in some other stuff. Like I assist Justin on the asset management side, which is the hammer. Because when you got a deal with good underwriting and money behind it, all you have is a concept. You don't have a real deal yet. What you need is implementation. And the implementer is the one that goes around with a hammer and browbeats everything into submission and brings the deal to profitability, right? That's the hammer.
I see.
Now, in addition to that, of those 4 people, one of these folks has to be driving the bus. And I see a lot of times the asset manager is the driver of the bus. I see the money person is the driver of the bus. Those are typically who I see do it. Other people can do it too, and everything like that. But that's who I typically see carved out on who the CEO of the company is, of the bus, and that person gets an additional override as well, or additional compensation if they want to put it together. That's my company. The DeRosa Group is the driver of the bus, and everybody else is kind of helping me assemble it and all that. So give me feedback? How did all that land? How did it go?
It went pretty well. I'm kind of confused on, I guess.
Bring it.
So like
tell me where I left out.
Since you're the driver of the driver of the group, right? And DeRosa Group is not like Justin and Hervé, right?
Okay.
They're not part of they are part of DeRosa team, or they're separate? So you guys just form like an LLC together?
Yeah, we have we have sub LLCs that
Okay.
own property.
Okay.
Those guys are with the DeRosa Group. They can run around and say
Okay.
they're not employees of the DeRosa Group. We don't do employees.
They're
The reason
partners.
we don't do that is there is a level of performance that we're looking for that you typically see from more partners, kind of thing. And
I
then
see.
we want to partner with people and comp them with equity and all that. I do have someone who's on salary that works with me that does our investor relations, but they get performance bonuses too. So they're they're on the hook
Okay.
as well to see
Mhm.
us perform and to see us win too.
I see. Is there any like when you met Hervé and Justin and I think Ben's your underwriter and Kevin, like was there certain traits you were looking for that's always like at the top of your head that you want all your team members to have?
No, there's certain traits you want to have for the seat that they're in. So you
Okay,
want your
gotcha.
analysts to be really analytical and really able
Uh-huh.
to live inside spreadsheets and be into numbers and all that. You want to have different traits that serve the seat that they're in. What you do want to have a global agreement upon is core values.
Okay.
Where you want like that's got to be the foundation. Core values, where you want life to, where you want to be in 5 years. What you will and won't do for the benefit of the company. A lot of the foundational core, and that's what you want to have mutual agreement upon. And we have company standards that everybody's all signed off on, agreed to.
I
But
see.
aside from that, you want diversity. You want diversity from a skill standpoint and diversity from all kinds of different facets sitting above that foundation.
Okay, gotcha. Now, like, have you been in a situation where, let's say, two of your team members want to take more on with a deal, and the roles kind of intersect? How do you kind of settle out who gets what?
Negotiate.
Negotiate? Okay,
You
gotcha,
negotiate.
gotcha.
You can't see the forest beyond the trees. You know what, David? You got to be willing to have the difficult conversations with people. And we've had what you just described has happened recently with us, where it's like, hey, this person wants a little bit more. This person wants to pull back and give up a little bit of time, whatever it is. You got to be willing to have the courage to have that difficult conversation. And the difficult conversations stink, but you know what? It's so much better than creating some animosity, sweeping under the rug, whatever it is. So we try to be very direct with our people about comp and talking about things that are tough to talk about putting it all on the table.
I see. How often do you guys meet typically when there's deals? Like how many deals are out there right now that you guys are rolling with?
Well, we typically roll with one at a time, and we meet
Okay.
daily. We do a Zoom
Okay.
call every day.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, every day we do a Zoom call. There's a lot going on. There's capital raising. How's this going? Has legal? Did the survey happen? Did that earthquake that happened in North Carolina affect us or not? All kinds of stuff we talk about. So we talk daily on each deal, and we used to meet face to face on a monthly basis. Now with Corona crazy, we don't meet face to face anymore.
I see.
Zoom calls and stuff like that.
Is there any company out there, I guess, that's like the ideal size that you'd like DeRosa Group to get to?
Yeah, we have longer term visions. I don't know if you're familiar with there was a product out there. You probably wouldn't know this, but there was a company called David Lerner and Associates that sold a product called Apple. And it's not Apple like the computer. It was Apple, a real estate investment. It was a real estate investment item that you could buy through David Lerner. We want to get to the point where we really are the company that's big enough, like a boutique, like a boutique financial advisor that people can come to get different alternative investments. We want to change the way America invests their money. I don't want to be Joe Fairless just because that's Joe Fairless. I don't want to be him. I want to be Brian Burke or Michael Blanc or any of those guys that I really look up to. And I think they've created a phenomenal vehicle, but we're looking to go not just to become a big syndicator. We want to really fundamentally alter the way America puts their money to work and gives people a viable outside of Wall Street option for people to put money to work in real estate investments. That's what we're looking at. And it's apartment buildings, but it's not, believe me, people aren't just like, oh, I want to invest in apartments. People want something different. That's what they want. It's not tied to whether or not, who's running for president or anything like that kind of stuff. It's just a more down the lane, more predictable investment that's not subject to global forces as real estate.
I see. I
As real
like
estate
that.
directly is, right?
Gotcha. That's cool. I don't know if
That's
it's
our long-term
possible to
business. Yeah, that's what we want to do.
to shift gears towards due diligence. I've been curious about, because I've seen there's some people who bring specific professionals like their electrician, their plumber, to come with them to the property to check out the whole thing. And then there's some people who go to third-party companies that do the whole thing for them, just have like a report. Like, is there a specific way DeRosa likes to go about it?
We bring a property manager in. We bring in A+ property managers that have deep vendor relationships and that have construction management on staff. If you got the right property manager, I mean, this is everybody watching, remember this. If you got the right property manager, they'll do 95% of the work for you. When it comes to due diligence and it comes to making the property successful and everything like that. If you got a coming property manager, they'll do 50% of the work for you, and the 50% they are doing is going to be crap work. So what you talked about bringing third-party vendors on site is not a bad idea. But if your property manager doesn't have those people lined up, you should be concerned.
Okay.
Maybe not first visit, but if you go out there and you're like, this electrical looks a little shoddy, and you look at your PM and say, you get a local electrician that can come look at this, and if they look at you with a blank stare, like, oh, electrician, yeah, okay, get a new PM, right? Because when we bought the property in Winston-Salem, the property manager we were looking at the time, they rolled in with roofers and GCs and all kinds of different people on their own accord, on their own to do that. Until you reach the level that you've got a big property manager in your corner, what you said makes sense. And I even recommend for newer investors looking at smaller deals, get a home inspection. I sold a guy an 18 unit in Philly, and he brought in a legit third-party home inspector guy. Fine. So consider bringing in a home inspector, maybe not electrician, roofer, plumber, or whatever. Get a home inspector in first and have them make some recommendations. And then if those recommendations start to point towards you needing a trade like a tradesman to look at it, then you can bring them in after.
I see. How many property PMs did you have to go through to find that one you worked with in Winston-Salem?
Too many. We've already had to fire one and all that. I mean, it's a grind getting the right PM, but once you get them, you get comfortable, and everybody's happy and they're happy and all that. But we went through, I think we interviewed 11 on this deal just to make sure we were making the right pick. So, yeah.
Was there any specific?
Yeah, PMs will make or break you, man. The PMs will make or break your deal. It is imperative for the person sitting on the hammer seat on your train to work to not just pick the first PM they find or the one at the cheapest price. You got to pick the PM that you think can really take you where you want to go.
What made this PM stick out than the other 10 that you interviewed?
The one that we're not hiring is one that manages another property for us. Their expense ratio, they couldn't get there. They don't manage a whole lot in town. And I think that they probably just saw the property as more of a burden to them than anything else. They kind of saw it was going to be a pain in the neck. The new PM that we are hiring loves the property, is doing a lot of other work in the area, and showed us an expense budget that made sense and also is going to turn profit in that.
Okay,
so
I see.
It was an alignment there.
Do you see, is there a typical percentage of expenses that you see properties have? Like, is it usually like if properties are stabilized and they're like optimized to the core, like is 45% something that's practical to assume? It's hard to hit 45%.
45% is a hard number to hit.
I see.
You're typically going to see 50 to 55%.
Okay, and that's like everything's optimized. Like this is like solid.
Yeah, you probably get it to 50, but industry standard is somewhere in the 50% range, like plus or minus. You might get it down to 45 if you've got all tenant paid utilities, low real estate taxes. Utilities and taxes and payroll are the three things that are going to drive up your expenses hard. And so if you can find a way to keep those things down on the property, then I think that you could have a pretty good equation. So
I see.
The new construction, it really drives down maintenance and utility costs and things like that. So if you're doing a new construction deal, you could sit in the 35 to 40% range day one.
Okay. I know you guys go through a lot of deals. And was there any deal that was really hard to say no, where like the numbers almost worked but didn't quite work to where you guys wanted it to be?
Sure. Yeah, that happens a lot in markets where in markets that we really want to be in. And I
Yeah.
find myself that I've caught myself trying to force the deal because I want to get into that market because I know the market's hot and I know the market is a market that's going to deliver what we want to see out of a market long term, right? But I've had to walk away because it just wasn't the right deal for that market. Louisville, Kentucky is a deal is a market I really wanted to be in. And that we haven't found a deal there yet because it's competitive and it's a big city and stuff like that. A lot of other people are buying there. A lot of other people realize it's a good market to be in. But we've looked at a few deals that were right on the margin, but it just didn't work in that. And you got to have the courage to walk away and to make the offer, but say, you know what, it's not going to work. So
I see. Was there someone on the team that specifically like who brought you guys the attention to not do the deal, or was it just like your gut?
the underwriter's job is to be the no person. The underwriter they should not be the excitable people. The hunter, the one that finds it, and the money person are the ones that are typically the ones that are really excitable, trying to work it all out, trying to find a way to force it and make it happen. But the asset manager and the underwriter are the ones that are supposed to be kind of the pull. There's a push and a pull on a team.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
The underwriter is the one that's like, no, we cannot pay over this number. We must charge this much rent. It's only going to work if we do what I tell you it's got to do. And they're not a we'll figure it out kind of people. That's how the money and the hunter tend to be optimists kind of thing. So
I see. Is there any specific things you guys do with your guys' PM that kind of like sets them on the right path on how you would like them to manage a property? Like, do you guys kind of have to do like a little seminar with them to like show them how to do it? Or usually like right when you interview the PM and they're good,
man, these people manage thousands and thousands and thousands of apartment units. If you pick the right PM, if you pick a PM that this is like, if you are like their largest transaction. What's up, Nabil? It's my man. I'll give him a little shout out. Nabil Mahmood. Nabil, you should hop on this show at some point. I know you're a veteran mentor. You're a veteran member of Insiders and a good friend and everything like that. But it'd be good to just have you on and chat some stories. But anyway, what were we talking about? You asked me a question.
PM.
PM.
PMs are usually good because they manage a lot of transactions.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it home after that. We're gonna wrap it up after this. But
okay.
The PMs, I will say that you don't want to be stretching your PM and you want to be in a new market for them, which is another reason why we're not hiring the PM we were going to hire, is because Winston-Salem would have been a new market for them. The one we are hiring, like 20% of their management portfolio is in Winston-Salem. So that's a good thing. Another thing is that you want to work with a PM that just has like really good management protocol that kind of knows what it is. You don't have to sit them down and like, hey, listen, okay, so when this tenant stops paying your rent, you're going to file eviction after 4 days, right? You shouldn't have to do any of that. They have a machine that they're going to parachute into your building that's going to make it run the way you want it to. And you just gotta have the courage to hold them accountable to it and to fire them if they're not working properly the way they're supposed to. That's it. But you're also, the only bad thing, David, is you're going to be subject to their management protocol, that they're going to want to do things the way they know how to do it. You're going to have to interview them to make sure that you understand what their late requirements are, what their late protocol is, what their management philosophy is, to get your head around it, because they're going to run your property the way they run everything else.
Gotcha. I see.
Right?
Gotcha. Thank you so much. I appreciate time. I know Justin mentioned you have a meeting after this, so thank you for answering all those questions.
I got to go do another do a Bigger Pockets thing, have an Urve on BP, and
yeah, I'll tune into that then.
Yeah, man. Well, it's been great to have you, and I look forward to seeing what you're up to on Insiders and stuff like that. Tell the audience real quick, how do folks get a hold of you if they want to send you a line, and why should they get a hold of you? Like, why should people reach out to you, and how can they do it?
You should reach out to me because I will be cold calling properties out in Georgia, Chattanooga area. I'm starting looking to Winston-Salem and Greensboro because you guys brought that to my attention.
Nice.
So hopefully I will have some deals in the system. And my Instagram is David California, 2 A's at the end. My email is D and then my last name right over here. And reach out to me if you guys are looking for specific things, if you guys are trying to partner. I am also an architectural photographer, so that's what I do for a living. And yeah, shoot me an email if you want to see my
You are a
portfolio.
hunter, my friend. You're a deal hunter. We need to you get yourself on Insiders, broadcast out there that you're a good hunter. You're looking for a brain, a money person, and a hammer to partner up with. Man, there's hundreds of people on Insiders that are looking for other folks that can help them find deals, man. So that's what Insiders is all about. It's about connecting people, helping people reach their goals. So I hope you put that out there on Insiders.
Awesome,
man.
will do. Thank you again for all the content and everything.
Thanks for being here, David.
Appreciate it.
Stick around after the show. I'm going to drop you down into the green room. Guys, that was a great show. I'll let David run for a little bit because there was a lot of really great conversation he and I were having. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do not forget, helpme@DeRosaGroup.com is where you guys want to send your questions. That is helpme@DeRosaGroup.com is where you guys want to send your real estate questions. And me and Justin Fraser will answer them right here on the air for you guys to all enjoy and learn from. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your guys' support for our YouTube channel and all of our real estate efforts always. And as I always say, have a great and profitable week.